Mental Health Monday.
Another episode of Mental Health Monday. You read the title, ADHD and Assault. And that's, woo! Over grapes. Because you got to have a cushion between these wild things.
Yeah.
All right, so what topic do you want to start with? I'm usually just like, tell me about yourself. Tell me about life. And I'm kind of just like, hey, man, how you feeling?
Yeah. As a person with severe ADHD, if you ask questions, I will answer them because I will be all over the place.
What makes a person's case a severe ADHD? How's that defined exactly?
Personality, I guess.
Yeah. Tell me more.
Again, like I'm not like a doctor, but for me, they knew that I had severe ADHD because I could not handle life well as a kid or as an adult.
Okay. Would you like some grapes? Re-up on the grapes. Also some celery too. There you go. Those are some healthy grapes. Wow, we really saved the best for later. Good job, us.
Yeah. So nice.
My partner got this container. It was such a great purchase. But yeah, define being an adult with severe ADHD.
Remembering to pay your basic bills on time. That part.
Yeah.
Remembering to, hey, you have to actually get up out of this bed.
Yeah.
And then think about all the
Does ADHD keep you in bed?
Because you think about all the things you want to do. And have all your plans that are running through them all in your head that you...
Analysis paralysis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Heavy.
How do you overcome analysis paralysis?
Aggression towards yourself.
Okay.
Force yourself like, hey man, just get up. You know, like literally I have rolled and fallen on the floor out of bed.
And you're like, well, we got here.
Right.
Okay.
Stand up.
So are there pros and what are the cons of severe ADHD?
Pros, like I said about driving, I'm aware of all things. Every little motion and movement it's distracting me, but it's everything that's happening. So I don't need to worry too much about that. So I'm a very good driver.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man would have been a very good driver if he had severe ADHD.
Sure. It was giving, Spider Sense does kind of give ADHD a little bit, honestly, because it's a sense about things.
But I have the awesome reflexes stuff.
That's the part. Yeah. So if you have ADHD, you should do martial arts. Like, get your reflexes up. Great combination.
Has that been beneficial for you?
Yeah. Because I've been on and off martial arts since I was like 8 years old. I did Kuksawan at first.
Was that coping wise for you, or just to get your energy out?
Great outlet. My third grade teacher was the one who was like, hey, and my third grade teacher and my grandmother were both like, hey, this would be good for you.
Shout out to them. Do you remember your third grade teacher's name?
Miss Arce.
Her name was Miss Murillo.
Yeah. Shout out to Miss Arce.
So how do you manage ADHD in your private life?
The most important thing is not being too hard on yourself when you fail certain things.
So does that mean you have to have
Qualify that
self-worth talks?
for sure. Like, yeah, I did
An example.
So you have your, hey, I didn't make my list today, but that's okay. I'll make it tomorrow, Or you did other things today. Even if you did one thing, like you bathed today, fantastic.
Major. Yeah.
And you made it to work on time. Because being on time is that's like when I was late today.
As someone with ADHD, are you allowed to let your employers know, hey, I have an ADHD, because sometimes getting away with me coming in on time?
I do.
How do they manage that as an adult? Whatever you've seen.
It really depends on the person.
Yeah.
I've gotten comfortable with just saying it all the time. And if people are going to be weird about it, that's on them. And I just have to move accordingly. And I probably won't have that job for that long.
Yeah.
And
you just accepted it for what it is. Like, hey, if it doesn't work, that's fine. I still got this thing regardless.
Right. And luckily, ADHD does not stop you from doing your job. You're usually very good at your job, whatever you're doing. Because you're hyper-focused.
When you're able to get the focus. Yeah.
So hyperfocus is interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
When you're enjoying something or doing something, you will do it exponentially.
Do folks with ADHD with jobs just enjoy the thing that's in front of them?
Depending on the job.
Okay.
Or if it's a lot of times when it's a new job, oh, I'm excited for this, so we're going to get it. And they have very good work ethic. They do their job, and they're usually the best person at their job. A lot of times, like, oh man, you're doing better than everyone else, and you're just in here.
Yeah.
And then over time, you're like, man, I'm tired of this. It's like, okay, I need to find a new job.
Would you say folks with ADHD may burn out faster than others just because of the hyper focus? So, have you ever had to manage your burnout?
I have hyper-focused for literally days at a time. So
That sounds terrifying.
at UDC, but I enjoyed it very much, honestly.
Okay.
When I was at the labs at UDC, I loved it. I would spend the night in the lab and just work constantly. My professor was like, hey, I really don't want you to do that.
I wonder if that's why most people spend their nights in the labs with no issue. Because you brought it up in another one of our discussions that folks with ADHD, when it came to school, they're just phenomenal.
Yeah, if it's something like geometry, I really like geometry, so I was like, we're getting it.
What makes you love geometry so much?
The same thing that makes me like engineering. Like I like, shapes, and I don't know. I've always been aware of the three-dimensional aspects of things. So even though I'm looking at this, I can see that like your drawers or what have you, your shelves. I can envision what the other side looks like.
The shoe boxes and everything else, including the metal.
The metal itself, the drawers,
Yeah.
or a table, or a cabinet. I can look at it and visualize. Oh, I can see this part of it. So hypothetically, the other side is close to it or something.
So does that mean you're vicious when it comes to like building IKEA furniture?
Yes, I'm that guy.
It's for real?
That guy.
So when it comes to ADHD, do you ever look back at any of your experiences when it comes to like your parents or adults and think, man, I really wish there was an education program for these people?
Well, that.
Yeah.
But I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I have to. There was a time where I was like, oh man, this is all. You should have done this better or that better. And like, man, they had all their things that they were going through. These people lived through the 50s and 60s,
I say that all the time.